Hello everyone, SirMonkeySuit here, back again with Fate Unlimited Blade Works. We are on episode 11 of Season 2, so yeah, we've only got this one and then the final two. What I'm going to do is, this only goes for patrons, I think, although I'm still not sure how I'm going to do it for YouTube, because that is quite far away off. But this will be the only episode today, and then I'll do the final two for Monday, okay? So that's just for patrons, okay? So if this is if this is up on YouTube, right, and you're hearing this, don't just disregard it, right? It's not coming out on Monday. It'll come out on Friday for whenever you guys are getting it, right? So yeah, just for patrons, the final two episodes, episode 12, and then the epilogue will be coming out on Monday. Okay, so the idea is that Shiro, Rin, and Saber are all going to destroy the Grail again, hopefully before it actually manifests into the Grail itself, because right now it's sort of it's at a stage where it's fucking Shinji royally. And it's great and I love it. Gilgamesh is trying to, he's expecting the Grail essentially to spew out that sort of blood lava stuff that happened at the end of Zero. His whole plan is to essentially test humanity, kill off the weak ones, leave the strong, and then the strong people can serve him. Right? That's his plan. So yeah, that's what's happening with that. Rin has thought of a plan to go head to head with Gilgamesh, the perfect sort of counter to Gilgamesh is an armory of your own, in which case Unlimited Blade Works is. And one of my patrons, sorry, I don't have your name right up right now, but said that that Unlimited Blade Works isn't a sort of, it's not really like a noble phantasm in of itself. You know what I mean? It's sort of like an exception to the rule. It's something completely different. So yeah, I was just wondering, because Shiro, I'm just like thinking, you know what I mean, he's not a servant. How would he have access to this kind of thing? But yeah, it's not as simple as that, so it's fine. Shiro should be able to use it as long as he's got the mana, in which case he does now, because Rin has transplanted her magic crest into Shiro, so now they have a shared mana pool, right? It's probably going to be hard on both of them then, I imagine, just because I can imagine like the sheer amount of mana it would take to actually, you know, like, first of all, like, you know, manifest the actual reality marble itself, but also like summon fucking swords and all of this kind of shit going on. You know what I mean? It's going to be a lot, especially when you're going up against Gilgamesh, who seemingly has no end to his fucking mana. It seems so. It's going to be interesting to see how they get on with that. And yeah, I think that's it. Oh yeah, it's taking place at Ryudo Temple. So yeah, that is all. I don't think we need to get into anything else. We're just going to see what we get in this next episode. So without further ado, let's go. Okay, episode 11. Right. Well, first things first. I don't know what exactly happened there between Saber and fucking hell, Assassin. I don't know if, like, well, she went purely like just like head to head, right? Like a sort of a blow for blow kind of thing, right? Because how else would she have dodged Assassin's attack unless she got there first? Which I don't know, because I think maybe I'm thinking of it too much like Lancer's attack, right? How it's like a assured thing, but like, you know, with them, because obviously I didn't see Saber's like luck thing go off, right? Because there's sort of like a sort of specific imagery that happens when Saber's luck comes into play, right? Like her luck ability. But in this one, it just seemed like she got there before Assassin got her. You know what I mean? Like, she dodged underneath every attack and got a hit off on him, which I kind of thought was a bit odd considering how it went the first time. because when she got out fucking Excalibur, I was expecting like shit. Well, like this is it, and I'm thinking like at the end, she's using it for nothing that would help Shiro or Rin, right? Because even if Assassin was to take out Saber there, right? Assassin's not going to go like help Gilgamesh with fucking deal with Shiro and Rin, is he? Like his whole purpose of being there is to be in the place that he is, in front of the gate. He's not going to move from that, even if he defeated Saber. So it would have almost been absolutely pointless. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, how the fuck is this going to end? You know what I mean? Because because I'm thinking the only way that Saber would be able to defeat Assassin like head to head when he's doing like his ultimate technique thing is by using Excalibur to its fullest extent, and she said that if she was to use it, that's it, she's gone. So yeah, I mean, I am a bit confused as to what had happened. I do like the way that he described it afterwards. I thought you were some like little bird, but you were actually like a lion, because that's our like sort of like that's England's animal is a lion. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that a lot. Pride of Britannia. Okay, yeah. So at the beginning there of the episode, Shiro said that with this sort of mana that you can project 10 or 12 like projections, right? So my guess is, yeah, he's talking about swords at any one time. Now this is a problem because if Gilgamesh at any point wanted to summon more than that, he could do, right? Like there's nothing stopping him from doing that. So that would be a struggle. I think at some point he has to go into Unlimited Blade Works. Like he just has to, right? I was expecting at this episode, like when he said, right, that's it. I've got to put up like replicas of his swords, like he is, and match them, sort of weapon for weapon kind of thing. And I was thinking, I don't know why, but in my head I was thinking he can only do that in Unlimited Blade Works. He can't do that in fucking. Though, if it's Unlimited Blade Works, I wonder if there's something about like, if you're in that reality marble, you can summon as many as you want. Thus being Unlimited Blade Works. You know what I mean? Because I'm thinking like, is it just a case of like, because if you're keeping like, if you're supplying mana, right, to keep the reality marble Unlimited Blade Works up, right, does that mean that every time like you don't have to expend mana to summon blades whilst you're in there, or what? I don't know how it works. You know what I mean? It would be nice if there was like a mana bar. I could just see what's happening. But yeah, I mean, I don't know, because it would make sense. Unlimited Blade Works, right? If that's indeed the name, then you could supply more that you could supply unlimited, right? So therefore, if that was the case, you could go up against, as long as you're fast enough, you could go up against Gilgamesh completely. But I get it. They're waiting for the next couple episodes to introduce that, because that's the game ender, right? Like that's where it becomes. I mean, I want to say Shiro's victory, because I mean, to be honest, I just want a fucking happy ending in Fate for once. And I can't see it being a case of like, I mean, as much as I enjoy Gilgamesh, you know what I mean? Because I find him, like, obviously he's an evil character, and, you know, you don't want him to win. I enjoy watching him, you know what I mean? I enjoy him doing his thing. But, you know, I don't see how this ends other than Shiro winning in some way, some form or fashion, right? Because, like, unlike Zero, I feel like this is a more, like, it's more hopeful, this one. You know what I mean? Zero, I think, always had that element of like, oh, it's tragic and there's not supposed to be a happy ending. Whereas this one, there is that sort of there, like, you know, floating up above. So I think, you know, I think that I don't see it finishing any other way than Shiro, like, overcoming Gilgamesh at some point. So yeah. Yeah, Saber saying she can only use Excalibur once because obviously with Rain supplying mana to both of them, that's tough. I mean, she's going to be coming in and I mean, since she's here and just you know, there's there'll be Shiro there as well. It's going to end up being a 2v1 situation, I think. I don't think this is going to be the same as like Shiro v Archer, where Shiro's like, no, let me do this on my own. I mean, it's set up the fact that Saber has only one like use of her like big fucking Excalibur thing. Now, it could end up being, it's going to be one of two things. Either she's going to use it as an opening for Shiro to get the final blow, or she's going to use it to destroy the Grail again. I see it almost as a, you know, the plan was with Rin was like, oh, we'll get it before the Grail's manifested. But I almost see it as the Grail, I can see the Grail actually manifesting again, and almost like a repeat from what happened in Zero. Saber has to destroy the Grail again with that, you know, with that attack. I'm almost tempted to say that the latter is what's going to happen. Like she's going to have to use that to destroy the Grail again. Because in that way, I mean, I don't know. I would like it if it was the former as well, just because I think the idea of Shiro going head to head with Gilgamesh, you know what I mean, kind of. It can like almost like the idea of it can just kind of weaken this idea of Gilgamesh being built up as like this fucking unbeatable dude, you know what I mean? And he's taken on like Ryder and Hercules without, you know, Alexander the Great and Hercules like without any real effort, you know what I mean? And then you get this kid who's come in and is able to take him on. Now I get it that like it's sort of like it's the main reason is because he has the ability, like the perfect counter to you know, so it's not just based upon like ability, right? But you know, I'm kind of I would like it if he was only able to take Gilgamesh on by Saber's help, you know, and maybe not just like head to head one-on-one and deal with them that way. But yeah. So the Grail has already started leaking. It's gotten to the point now where there's so much like mana being thingy to it that it can't hold it any longer, and it's overflowing, and it's cracking. There was also a moment where I thought it was opening up another one, like a bigger one, further up, and then Gilgamesh was saying that's the wishes of like, you know what those things are? Those are wishes apparently, and he describes them as sort of like. He describes them as malevolence because I don't get it. He describes it as like humans' true nature to be like he sees that their wishes as sort of like ultimately pointless in the end because they never really fix anything because they are set by humans' limitations. So again, like it goes back to what happened with Zero when Kiritsugu went in and started talking to the Grail's like sort of spirit or whatever, and the spirit's basically saying like, you know, I can grant you it, but it's only granted by the limitations of humanity. So, you know, you're limited via like, oh well, logic would dictate that the only way to get rid of war forever would be to kill out and the human race would die out, right? Because by nature that's what we are, right? So I'm guessing he says that I'm guessing that's what Gilgamesh's point is, that like all of these wishes essentially are limited by you know, how would it be achieved in a logical sort of sense by humans to get to that point. And because Gilgamesh sees it as such a limiting factor that nothing actually happens, like the wishes aren't even granted because every wish that they grant isn't like, you know, it can't be granted within the limitations of humanity. So I think that's what he's saying there. And I like, I mean, it's a tough truth to take. I kind of almost agree with, well, not even kind of, almost, I agree with what Gilgamesh says about, like, how he says, like, sort of back in the day, everybody had some meaning or purpose to almost, like, achieve something in life, or they had some meaning to live, even down to, like, the slaves and whatnot. And like, whereas now there is so many people that actually the people outnumber the purpose, because there are so many fucking people on Earth that we are like, and it's, I mean, it's kind of true. Like, if you, I mean, it's easy to see now with, like, the internet and whatnot. I mean, what the fuck a lot of us are doing with our lives just seems like pointless shit. Like, you know what I mean? It just seems like utterly worthless garbage jargon, just utter shite. You know what I mean? And I mean, I can't argue with Gilgamesh's sort of, like, reasoning there. I really can't. But I don't agree with what he's about to do, but I understand why he thinks that way. So yeah, nuts. So yeah, fucking assassin was there. Oh god. So yeah, the only reason why he's remained there is because he's anchored to the temple. So there's, like, you know, he wasn't sort of granted mana via Casta. He was a, you know, he's a false servant that was specifically anchored to the Ryodo Temple itself. And we know from before that Ryodo Temple was, like, a space in which they were accumulating, like, mana to sort of, like, store there. So even with Assassin there at the end, like, you could see him when he was talking, he was like, he's slightly faded on, like, the edges of him, that you know, he's been using up all of that mana since Casta's died, I'm guessing, where, like, you know, the mana that's been stored there, and gradually it was going. So so yeah, it makes sense. That was nuts. Earlier on in the episode, when fucking Shinji's like, oh, he's Saber's back there now, like, dealing with that guy, right? And he specifically said that guy, and then Gilgamesh turned up, and I had a feeling, I was like, how? But it was explained, and I have no complaints. So yeah, Rin, I do like the fact that she was like, I'm gonna go pull out Shinji because he is Sakura's brother, you know what I mean? It's no fucking, you know, we've had this thing with them two before, in the sort of, like, the basement or whatever it was of the Ainsburn Manor. And Rin's like, oh, you're too far gone, aren't you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, at this point, you know what I mean? You're unsavable, right? So there's nothing in Rin's head of, like, oh, I'm going to save Shinji because I want to save him, you know what I mean? Because it's about saving people. Whereas with Shiaro it would be, but with Rin it's down to the fact that it's Sakura's brother. Now, would Sakura care if Shinji died? Probably not. You know what I mean? But you know, I don't know, because I've never seen them. I honestly don't think in UBW I've ever seen Sakura and Shinji in the same frame, or like in a vicinity of one another. You know what I mean? I don't think they're, like, you know what I mean? I've never seen them together at all. There's been things of like there's rumors that Shinji, like, treats Sakura like shit and stuff, you know. So, but we don't know Sakura's true, like, actual feelings about her brother at all. You know what I mean? If she even cares at all about him, we don't know. So yeah. Kojiro, yeah. So we're like, or Assassin himself, he sort of sees him as like, oh yeah, Kojiro probably existed at one point, but he sees himself as a record of his of the actual Kojiro's past accomplishments in a way, like, almost like, you know, it's like a copy, like, so some, you know, you can kind of relate it to Shiaro's abilities to, like, to, you know, with projecting and summoning, sort of like, you know, copying Gilgamesh's weapons or any weapons that he wants. You know, he just sees it as a sort of projection. Like, I'm a projection of what Kojiro used to be. You know what I mean? And it's a sort of it is a interesting perspective from him, because we haven't had that from any other servant in Zero or UBW, right? They've all seen themselves as they were. You know, they grab memories from their past and use them, and almost like they've been resurrected for a temporary amount of time. You know what I mean? And that's the way the servants see it. Of course, we had like Archer in you know, UBW, so you know, past Shiro who'd grown up and whatnot, and he had a perspective on it that was interesting as well. But it also, again, it wasn't the same perspective as what Assassin was saying here. So it was an interesting perspective. So yeah, with Gilgamesh and Shiro fighting, Gilgamesh is not taking Shiro seriously. He says he refuses to go all out, and we know what happens when he goes all out. Normally it's a case of like, right, he's going all out, this fight will be over in the next 30 seconds. You know what I mean? Because his fucking armory is decked out with just the most ridiculous shit. Like, Gates of Babylon is one thing, but he has fucking that Chains of Heaven, which is fucking nuts. And then on top of that, yeah, he has that ear thing, which Shiro couldn't read, which I thought was very, very cool. I like that. I like that there's something that he can't copy, because it's so intricate and so almost like devoid of any real, like, that's not a real weapon. Like, it has this like sort of aura that it's like it's not truly like of this world or this plane or this existence. You know what I mean? So I like the fact that Shiro can't even read it to copy it, because he doesn't know the intricacies of it. Throughout the whole of UBW, Shiro's been, you know, like, we've seen Shiro touch specific components and read like the sort of the intricacies of what's going on the inside. And it's interesting with like that ear thing that you can just see, even just by how it looks on the outside, that you can only imagine the fucking state of that thing on the inside. Like, it's got to be something on the inside that is so not of this universe. Like, it's got to be like something that's completely like not of this world at all, that Shiro can't determine what it is. You know what I mean? Because that's the thing, isn't it? It's not just looking at something and copying it. I think you have to sort of have an idea of how it's made, everything on the inside as well. You know what I mean? Like, otherwise it's not a true copy, right? When Archer was talking about how he can just basically, like, you could copy like Excalibur, for example, that, you know, if them two were to clash, it would they said like what it would, Shiro wouldn't survive it and stuff. It would be a massive fucking that would cause massive fucking damage. So on some level, you know, this whole fight between like the real thing versus a fake copy, you know, I'm almost tempted to believe that even though even though it's a copy, it retains like just as much fucking power behind it, you know. So, you know, but yeah, I mean, I completely forgot about Ear, and he pulled it out once, didn't he? It was against Ryder, I'm sure. So where am I here? Ryder. I need Ryder, right? Ryder died in like episode 10, season 2. Yeah. So the idea is that this, by using Ear, it kind of means that he respects his opponent, because Gilgamesh doesn't take it out for no reason. Now, interestingly enough, by doing this, like, he must have, he must have gathered that that hand reaching out for Gilgamesh as a sort of the new source of you know, because it needs to get it from somewhere. It's just fucking like trying to grasp fucking anything to use. That Gilgamesh must have like not been fucking underestimating that thing at all and just getting rid of it, you know. I mean, here's the thing, like, Gilgamesh not taking Shiro seriously is going to end up being his downfall. And I think rightly so as well. I think the one thing that sort of Gilgamesh has going for him is that because he is so powerful, because he is so OP, that you have to have him be the character that he is. Like, you couldn't have him have a different personality, you know what I mean? Like the way that he sees himself, he has to be above everybody else, because if he is not, then he doesn't underestimate his opponents. He has to feel like he can't be beaten in any way, because otherwise then there's no reason for him not to underestimate his opponents. If you're going to make the downfall of Gilgamesh, then you have to do it through his mental state, not from his capabilities, right? So, because of the shit that he has access to, Gates of Babylon, Chains of Heaven, Ear, like, because he has access to all this stuff that is just fucking so OP, it's ridiculous, right? You know what I mean? You have to have his downfall be the fact that he's not gonna use it when he should have, or, you know, the fact that he's using Ear against that big fucking arm, but he won't use it against, you know, Shiro can't read it, he can't copy it. Now, I don't know if this is something that Gilgamesh knows. Gilgamesh is smart, but I don't know if he knows or not. Because all he needs to do is use that against Shiro, and it's done, and that's it. He's fucked. You know what I mean? But that's the thing, is like, the only way you're going to have Gilgamesh's downfall be a thing is if you make sure that he feels like he doesn't need to use it because his opponent isn't worth it. So yeah. And then yeah, Assassin is eventually gone. I mean, he came back for that one thing, but I enjoyed Kojiro in this, like, sort of like his he offered a different perspective that the other servants didn't, and not even just on the fact that, like I said, like he sees himself as sort of just a projection of what once was, not the real thing at all, but also from the fact that he's not like a real servant. Like, he sees himself as a fake servant because he was summoned by Castor, and you know, that was just another servant, you know. So he offered like like just something different, you know what I mean, and not just straight up, oh, you know, another servant. So yeah, that was cool. I enjoyed Assassin and Lancer in this. You know, Lancer still has my heart though. Like, he's the one. He's the boy. And at this point, you know, even, I don't know, we'll have to see, because Saber can still pull out something here that'll like maybe push her to the top, but you know what I mean, I don't see how Lancer's going to be taken off that top spot, because he's just some boy, he's a lad. So yeah, that was awesome. But yeah, so that is all for this episode. So thank you everyone for watching. In the description below, I've linked to certain things. Discord, get yourself over there if you want any information regarding my content. Also, if you want to come over and talk to me in the community, you're free to do that as well. SirMonkeySuit.com, my website, all my content is over there. You can also become a member and access the forums. There's a reaction recommendations page where you can post different shows and stuff that will end up going into the next poll, whenever that is. And Patreon. So I do have a Patreon. If you do want to support me, that would be very much appreciated. There's a bunch of different tiers and rewards depending on how much you want to support me with. So there's the early access, $5 a month, gives you access to all the shows I do a week early. And there was 4 episodes of Fate whilst this was on Patreon, but obviously as this is up on YouTube, I've finished this series because there's only 2 episodes left. So there will be another show that takes this one's place, and there will be 4 episodes a week over on Patreon. So just make sure, you know, that whatever it is, if you don't want to miss out on it, then that's what you want to do. Get the early access there. $10 a month, that is the full length. That gives you access to my full length library. Everything I react to gets a full length. Exclusive tier, $15 a month. That gives you access to a bonus show I'm currently reacting to, which is 7 Deadly Sins right now. So if you're interested in that, get yourself over there. $50, that is the elite tier. So every time you pay $50, you get a choice of a show that you want me to react to, and I will react to it. It will go at the back of the list behind about 7 shows. Might take me a while to get around to it, but I will do eventually. But if you don't want to wait that long and you want your show to be reacted to next, then you want to get God tier, which is $100. But that is all. So thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.